Jonathan's victory. I love this story. I have told it many times. A couple of insights. First of all, I want you to notice that the victory that God gave Jonathan was the victory that he wanted to give Saul. If Saul had just trusted him, if Saul had the faith that Jonathan had, his kingdom would have been, according to Samuel, his kingdom would have continued on. Jonathan showed great faith. He would have made a great king. I also want you to notice the difference not only between Saul and Jonathan, but also between Saul and David. Here, Saul is given this command not to eat anything, and the people and the men are famished. David wouldn't have done that. David understood his men. Even as a young man, when he first became the commander in Saul's army, his men became very loyal to him because he's one of them. And he understood them and he led them into battle. He would never have done something like what Saul did here. Notice the Philistines. They had the technology. They had the best swords, the best spears, fighting against an army that had basically picks and pitchforks and shovels, and they were fighting with sticks and rocks. They did not have the technology. The Philistines trusted in the technology they had, but they didn't have the discipline. The fact that Jonathan attacked from behind and they were afraid, and then an earthquake, and then they just ran, showed a lack of discipline. Later on, David would gain the technology from the Philistines, but David taught his men discipline. As we go through the stories of David, you're going to see how his men stand firm. No rumor of being attacked from behind would make them fear, or a simple earthquake. No, David's taught his men discipline, and with the technology and discipline, David built a world empire, at least in that part of the world. Well, a great victory. This story also is a great illustration of unintended consequences. Saul intended a good thing. He wanted his men to focus on victory and not get distracted by sitting around eating food, not realizing that when he made that command and gave that curse, he didn't intend for what happened. And we should probably be careful too, that sometimes we can have good intentions that create problems. Well, come back next week when we continue on with these story insights. We'll see you next week.